I'm Claire from Created the Ottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up in the UK. Thank you for joining me. I have the most loveliest make for you this week. Every week I try and do a little craft along, life permitting, and this is no different. This is this week's make. So I originally made this just for fun. It's actually a Sizzix die set that I really liked, and I tweaked it a bit with a Stampin' Up stamped image there, and I had so many people ask me how to make it, particularly Anne Williams. Anne, if you're watching, this is for you. So this is my completely all Stampin' Up version. Obviously I haven't put the snowflake on the front, but we could do that too because that's a Stampin' Up snowflake. It's actually in a retired set. But it's beautiful, it's just like that, so you could put that on the side. I just haven't die cut it so that I could get out all the bits and show you. So it starts off just as a hexagon box. Now a hexagon box is quite tricky without a die set. Not so much the box, but how you get it to stay together and then how you layer the back pieces. So I'm going to do that with you step by step. That means this video might be slightly longer than what you're used to. So if that's not for you, just fast forward the chatty bits. I try not to chat too much, I try and get straight on with it. What you're going to need, basically, just the Yiletide Village. So if you've got this Yiletide Village, if you've bought this or you're thinking of buying this from Stampin' Up this year, this is what I've used. Everything else is just Stampin' Up card or the inks or bits and pieces like that. If you like what you see and you'd like to purchase the products, this is a good start, isn't it? You can buy them from me at createdtheottaway.co.uk and just select the shop tab. There's loads of bargains on there at the moment because of clearance rack. There's some new online exclusives. If I just mention the word otters, go and have a look at those. Absolutely fabulous. So this is the make. Like I said, it uses the Yiletide Village set, which is in the mini Christmas, well, September to December catalogue. It does share with you the size there. You get like a snowy stamp and a little brick wall and a tree. Oh, can't see that, can you? Brick wall and a tree and like a church, and then different houses, and then they share here some really lovely ideas. So there's a village scene in a frame, there's a candle that's been wrapped, just really lovely ideas. The Stampin' Up catalogues are amazing for that. You think that they're just going to be full of buying stuff, which they are, because that's what the purpose of them is for. But honestly, every single page is bursting with ideas and inspiration. So get one from your local demonstrator or have a look at it online. You can download your own version. So I have used Lost Lagoon card for the outside of my box. You can use whatever colour you want. But I wanted it to sort of go with the one that I've already got because I'm actually going to display them together. The one that I'm making today makes 3, and I'm just going to use that as, so I'm going to put it like that, and I'm going to put another one on and just use it as a little centre display on the side. So I'm going to put this snowflake on there as well, and just really make them look nice together rather than individually. The other thing you could do is you could put a hole in there and then put thread some ribbon, and you could use it as a tree decoration as well. Really lovely design box that I'm hoping that you're going to love as much as I do. So do I need to tell you anything else? If you want to stay in touch, you can find me on Instagram, Pinterest, obviously YouTube because you're watching here, and Facebook. I love to hear from you, so message me, share your makes with me that you've made from my videos, and definitely leave a comment underneath the videos just so I know what bits of it you liked, what I can help you with in the future. A couple of times recently I've had requests and they've turned into YouTube videos, so anything like that really. I think that's it. Is that it? Should we craft? Okay, so these are the sizes that you're going to need. I try and do them in centimetres and inches. I had a few people saying that it's really hard to see them, what I would say is screenshot from whatever device you're working on and then enlarge it, just because then you can get the sizes easier. I try and stop talking so you can do that, but they're usually really simple figures? No, measurements. Oh God, we've started already, girls. Okay, and boys. So you really don't need that much, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. So, piece of card, 2 pieces of card that you put together to make the outside of the hexagon. You're gonna do a bit of scoring. You're gonna layer it with a circle. That's what I use to get it to stay together on the back. I don't know if you can see that. Rather than cutting the hexagon bit, but we'll talk about that as we go. And then the inside, you need a couple of pieces of white card so that you can colour them. I was actually thinking, you know, like when you go in the cheapy shops, the pound shops here in the UK, things like that, you can get little like bottle trees and little deer, and you can actually use it to make a little scene. You can sometimes get little tea lights as well. I mean, I've made tea lights that look like houses. You could use that in there as well, and that would be really nice on the side as well. So I just think this is such a versatile box, you're just going to love it. So you've got the sizes, you know what you need. Should we craft together? My trimmer was a bit out of the way. So I've got a Stampin' Up paper trimmer. I always use this, not just because I sell them, but because it's got a cutter and a scorer, and that is just so helpful. All in one, job done. So what do we need? We need this, some Lost Lagoon card. Now you can get quite a few out of this because it is 3 1/4 inches. So I'm going to turn it so it's on its long side and cut it off at 3 1/4 inches. Now remember, you need 2 for each hexagon, so I'm going to do them both at the same time. So I'm cutting off my strip, 3 1/4, there's one, and then the next one is there. Okay, so definitely get one, and you could get another one. So out of 2 A4s you could make 3 at the same time. So that would be quite a nice little display. Or if you're doing a workshop, girls, you could use it to make a workshop look and make something stunning. What do I need on the side? 6 1/2. So I'm just trying to make room so you can see. So it's 3 1/4. So now I need to cut it off at 6 1/2. So again, I'm going to do both of them at the same time. 6 1/2. That bit, do we need that bit? It's quite big to throw away, isn't it? I'm going to keep it. 6 1/2. So how are you doing with the Christmas stuff going on? Are you overwhelmed? Are you sailing through it? I just can't get my head around that it's November. Where's the year gone? Okay, 6 1/2 by 3 1/4. Now on the long side we need to score it at 2 inches. Shall I do them together? Let's see if we can. 2 inches together. So I'm just lining them up together. Oh, I do not want that cutting blade though. Score 2 inches, 4 inches, 4, and then 6. Really simple. 2, 4, 6. Okay. And that leaves you with like a little tabbed area. Okay, now if I turn it round, so it's got 2, 4, 6, okay, and they have just made that. So that's 1/2 of your hexagon, and then you've got the other side. Now you're going to turn it with the short end at the top, and this time you're scoring it at 1 1/2 and 3. I told you it was simple. it just looks really complicated. Okay, and that just leaves you that little tab, and I'm going to do the same now. So 1.5. The actual box, it's simple, it's deciding what you want to put in it. 1.5 and 3. That's that. Ta-da! Okay, so I'll get my scissors and I'm just going to do a couple of little bits. So what I could do with is my big scissors actually, and of course they're not here, so I'm going to use this. So I'm just going to let you see where all the lines are. Okay, did I bring my bone folder? Oh, I did, and I still forgot to clean it from last week. Goodness me, don't look at it. What's a mucky scorer between friends? Okay, there we go. So they're all my bits. I'm going to do that on this side as well. So I'm basically going to do both pieces at once. And this bit is all the way along there. And this one as well. I don't think I did that one on here. So I'm just burnishing all the score lines so that you can see. Okay, let's concentrate on one. So the bit that's got the edge around, the very narrow edge, you are just going to cut up straight where the score line is. Because it's so dark in here and I've got all the lights on, it's really hard to see. So there's just 2 there, and then this end one I'm going to cut off. I'll show you in a minute. So there's a tiny piece, let me turn it around there, that I've cut off, okay? But I have cut down into those. Now I'm not shaping them at all, I'm just leaving it at that. Now this side, this little piece here, this little rectangle, I'm going to do the same with that. I'm going to cut it off. Okay. So I've cut that bit off. Yeah, I'm just going to shape that ever such a fraction, just at an angle, just a tiny bit, so that becomes the tab. Now then these pieces, again I'm going up the score line to the first score line there, so that becomes a tab as well. I'm not shaping these in any way. Okay, so what happens is that folds round like that, and that will be the bottom half of your box, okay? But don't worry about gluing it together at the moment. Get your other one ready exactly the same. So up those bits, cut this side piece off, just like so. And the other side, cut the, oh, something on there, cut the other side off. Like so. And then cut up these tabs. We're nearly there. Okay, so let's move all these bits out of the way. So you're left with 2 pieces that are like that. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is join them together. So this piece that's got the extra tab, you are going to put some glue on it, just on the inside piece. Just make sure that all your card is going the right way. So you want all the narrow bits along the top and the tabs along the bottom, and you're just joining it together. Okay, just like that. Just pressing it down like so, and then fold it over so you know Actually, I should have done that on the inside. On the inside, Claire, not the outside. Okay, let me do that again. Got a blob of glue as well. Okay. It's because I'm thinking about the next bit rather than doing it. So what you're aiming for, so I can explain that to you, is I just want to line that up before I talk. Can't concentrate on two things. Okay, don't worry about the glue on the outside that I've got. Oh no, no, it's sticking to the paper and not this. Okay, please come up. Okay, there. So the reason that you want it on the inside is because you don't want any marks on the outside of your box. And look what I've got, a mark. It'll be all right. When it's dried, I'll rub that off. Okay, so you end up with a long strip, okay, like that. And then you loop it round and you do the same. Remember to glue the tab onto the inside. Okay, so put some glue on your tab. Not too much that it floats off everywhere. So I'm matching those up. So it sort of forms a tube. Okay, so that one is like that. So you end up with that. Okay, with all your tabs like so, and this side with all your other pieces going over. So you just wait for that to dry a bit. I don't know that that's dry enough for me to rub off with my rubber. Let's have a go. No, I'm not going to ruin that. Okay, I'm just going to leave that for a minute. Okay, so you end up with this tube. Tabs are on the inside, so you've got a nice clean look all the way round. Now, these bits just fold over, okay, just so they overlap each other. Now, if you want to, at the end, you can glue them in place. I tend not to. I don't glue them in place. One, because you have to be really careful about how much glue you put on. You want such a tiny little dot because you don't want it to be seen. And two, I quite like the effect of it overlapping, and I quite like it. So I just fold those ones over at the front. Now the back ones, the same. Fold them over, sort of follow it round so they overlap the one before. Just like so, like that. But how do you make sure that that box is hexagon? And that's going to have to go under that one. Let me do that. So it's interlocking like that. There you go. There you go, and then I don't have to worry about it. They've just interlocked with each other. So what you do is you find a line on your grid paper. So I've got a line there, and I line it up along the line. So keep that on there. And then I find the line going up the side. Can you see that? No, let's do it here. Okay. Can you see it now? So I'm going off this line and this line. So first of all, I line it up along the bottom and I sort of hold it in place. And then I have a look where it's naturally going, and it's naturally going to that bit. So I've got a pencil here. So it's there, okay? If I take that off, just do that along, so that's where I want the other side to be as well. Now this isn't technical, is it? But this is just how I do it. So line it up there, line it up there, line it up there, and then make sure that that point is on that line, and that's as near to a perfect hexagon as you can get it. Now, to stick that in place, because I need to stick it in place so that I can work out what size hexagon I need, I decided to use a circle because that is the biggest die that I had that will fit over that space. So this is from a retired Stampin' Up set, but this circle is 3¼ inches across. And when you die cut it from a piece of card, you are left with this. And that, okay, doesn't cover the whole of it, but it covers a bit of it. And also what I'm going to do is die cut another circle in white and use that as a place to put my personal message, because I think that would just finish the card off. So I'm getting the nice side, I'm putting some glue all over it. I haven't moved my hexagon at all. Okay, I'm just putting glue all over, and because it's interlocking, it should stay there. I just put that on, and then I want something to weigh it down, but not too heavy. So I'm just going to use my block. Not for long, it's Tombow glue. It's going to stick very quickly. So that just holds it down. That means that I'm not touching the hexagon, I'm not moving it about, I'm not doing anything to it to affect the shape of it. Okay? Doesn't have to be perfect. This is a handmade gift. And this is stress-free crafting, okay? It's really important that it needs to be stress-free, because if you are sitting there stressing over your hexagon being perfect, this is not for you, okay? I mean that in the nicest way. You should be having fun with this, should be enjoying it. Okay, I think that that might be okay. So I'm going to turn it over, and then again, I'm not pressing, I'm not moving the hexagon. I'm just looking. That looks pretty good to me. So that's my hexagon, okay? Just ignore that bit with the glue. That's my hexagon. I'm pretty cool with that. I think that is a good shape. So in order to do the layers, we need a background piece to cover up all of this. That needs to be a hexagon. So I'm going to bring in my piece of white, and I'm just going to draw around my hexagon. Now, there's a couple of tricks to this, okay, or tips. Shouldn't say tricks, should I? The hexagon has got straight sides, so use them. So I'm going to lay it on right at the edge of my paper where the bottom line is, and just make sure it fits, okay, because that helps. So it's along the bottom there of my paper. I'm just going to hold it down, and I'm going to draw around it with a pencil, okay, just like that, okay. Now they may not be straight lines, that one's definitely not straight, but when I cut it with my scissors, it will be straight. So then what you do next, you do another one. So we're going to need 4 of these, by the way. So you can either do it along to the next point, so you can keep it straight there, or you can use that as one of your sides. It depends how much paper you want. You don't want to mess up. I think I'm gonna put it there because I want 4 whole hexagons. So that is there. And you should get them easily out of an A4 sheet. So that's my second one. And I'm going to put another one on top. Now, the other thing to think about is your hexagon that you're drawing is around the outside. Okay, so you don't need your hexagon to be as big as that. But I'll tell you how we do that in a minute. That's my hexagon. And don't worry about the pencil lines, you're not going to see these. Okay, we're nearly there. So I'm always using a previous hexagon as my start point. Now I'm going to get some big scissors, I think. Where are my big scissors? Just because it gives you a straighter line, and I'm just going to cut those out. So I start at one piece there, and I just cut along it, okay? And I'm just going to do one to start with. What I'm aiming to do is cut inside the line. You know, like when you're colouring and you're trying to colour right to the line. Well, when you're cutting out this hexagon, you want to be cutting on the inside of the line, okay? So you're cutting a straight line, but you're cutting on the inside. Just do one for now. Okay, that. So if I turn that over, put it on there, that's a pretty good match, isn't it? But you can see that it's over my hexagon, and I actually want it to sit inside. So what I do, I make a little pencil mark because I want to know where I've started. Okay, I've just put a pencil mark on one side, and I'm going to trim each side. There's a reason why you do the pencil mark. So I'm taking off just a fraction on that side, and then I go round to the next. And because it's straight, I can just trim it easily. Like so. And this one. And this one. And then by this time I'm thinking, where did I start? Well, there's my pencil line there, so I know I've just got one more to do. Okay, so literally taken slivers off. So let's see now if it fits in. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there, and it does fit. Okay, it's probably a bit looser than I liked, but actually no one's going to notice that. So I've got one of those, so I'm going to need another 3. So get those out, and now I can use this. So I can either use this to cut round each hexagon, or I can cut out my hexagons and go from there. It's entirely up to you. So I think I'm just going to cut out the hexagons because I've already got them done. Loads of bits of waste, and I can hear you all going, don't waste the card. Okay, let's see. Okay, there's quite a bit off of that, isn't there? Do you know what? Scrap this. Cut one hexagon and then use that as your template when you've got one the right size. So forget the bit of drawing round 4, just draw it round once, cut out your hexagon, and then use that as your template. Okay, 1, 2, 3, one more side. Okay, so I've got that, then I want another one. Draw them because they'd be easier. Da, da, da. I think my husband's just popped home. Does that mean he's going to come and chat when I'm trying to video? Okay, one more. Right, let's do it. I feel like I'm slowing down. Okay. 1. Oh. I don't need to trim these, remember, because they're now the right size. That one. And this last one. And again, don't worry about the pencil marks because this could be the back of your hexagon. Sorry, I forgot to check you can actually see what I'm doing. Are you all shouting at me going, what is she doing? We can't see. So sorry. Okay, there's my next hexagon. Ta-da! There you go, all 4. Right, we're ready to start. Okay, so one of them is going to go in the back piece. Okay, let's just check they're all the same size before we go any further. Yeah, look at that. All 4. So one is the back piece. Okay, so we're going to colour that. And then the other 3 need some stamping on them. So we're going to put them to one side. Right, what do we do with this? Well, on mine, I like to have a little moon. So I punch out a circle from post-it note, just like that. Okay, pull it off. It's sticky because I've made sure I've done the sticky end. I think, where would I want the moon? Make sure it's on a flat side because that's how yours is going to stand, and fairly near the top because of the roofs on the houses. Okay, and that, if I could get the cat's hair off, that's my moon. Then I have got a stamping blending brush. I tend to label mine. It doesn't matter if you've only got one and you use it for different colours, it doesn't come off, but I like to label mine because I've got loads. And then I've got this block that I use for this. It's a bit more grubbier than the others, a bit more scratched, and I have got 3 colours that I use for the night sky. So I've got Pool Party, okay, just as my starter. I've got Boho Blue, and then I've got Misty Moonlight. Now you are going to get messy doing this, but I'll try and help you get least messy or less messy. Okay, so I use my stamping block. It's clean, it's just really scratched, and I press it in. Okay, and then it's not really that easy to see on this, but there's loads of ink on there now, so I can put my ink pad out the way and I can see where the ink is when I move it around, and I'm aiming to just do round the moon really with this Pool Party colour. Now you can see I've used this quite a few times before. It's best not to put your brush straight on, to sort of come in from an angle. Otherwise what happens is your brush dumps all the ink in one place, and you don't want that because it just doesn't look so nice. It's not so bad on this Hexagon box because it's sort of deep inside and you don't notice it. But can you see already, I've only picked up the blue, the Pool Party once, and you can really see the colour on there already. Okay, like that. So I'm just going to pick up the rest of the ink because I can see there's more all around the edge, and I'm just going to do it a bit more like that. Can you see I didn't do it again? So I didn't listen to myself, I didn't bring the brush in, I just put it straight on. And the difference it's made is that, can you see? It gives it a bit more of a mottled look, so I've got to work harder to spread it out. Okay, but that's okay because the other blues will cover that. Okay, so Pool Party is done, and then I'm going to go to Boho Blue. I'm going to use exactly the same technique and the same brush. Okay, so I'm going to press it in. Can you see that? Yeah, press it in. You can see straight away it's darker. Now I've really got to listen to myself this time and bring it in, but just in case I'm going to do down the bottom to start with. Okay, and I'm just coming round the edges. Now you can spend ages doing this. I'm just going around the edge and just building up a nice dark, well not dark, a nice nighttime sky. Okay, you could actually start with Pool Party as card rather than white, and that would cut down half your work actually. I should have done that. So what happens is, where you're going round and round, I'm trying not to go round the moon, okay? I'm going near it here, but I'm not going directly over the moon. Okay, I'm not going to spend as much time as I normally would on this because you don't want to be here all day. So that's my Boho Blue layer, and then the next layer is Misty Moonlight, okay? So that's quite going to be really dark. So that will go right around the edges, and again you can see how much ink is on there already. It actually saves your ink pads from drying out when you do it on the block rather than straight pressing your brush in. And you can see how much ink you're picking up as well. Or you can see that that's already turning it darker. Go around this side. Just going around the edges as well. But I'm sort of leaving a bit of lightness around the moon, because the moonlight leaves a light, doesn't it? Okay, and you just keep doing, so you build that up and build that up and build that up, and then I'm going to take those away for now, because here's one I made earlier. So you end up with something not too far away from what I already had. Now you need to make some stars. You can do that with the colour lifter. So if you've got Stampin' Blends, you can just sort of dot all over and that will lift the colour off of your ink. You can do that with a white pencil. You can put stars on. I tend to use this. I've got some all-purpose ink that Stampin'Up retired a little while ago, and what I tend to do is put a dab of that. It's like I don't know if you can see, it's like a pearlized little sort of got a shine to it. It's thicker than ink, so I put it on there, okay, just a blob of it, and then I get some water because I need quite a runny mix. I mean, my spritzer is probably too much water, but we'll give it a go. Okay, so you're making quite a wet mix, and I've got this brush and I just splat it, and just do it as much or as little as you want. Okay, so I'll put that to the side, and then I would leave that to dry longer than what I'm doing it here. Take that off. Look, there's your moon. Look at that. Okay, now that is going to sit in there. Okay, just like that. Didn't put glue on it, did I? Let's put glue on it, and then I won't have to keep getting it out. So just put glue on the back of there, all over. Drop it in again. That way, wasn't it? Just like that. And then I'm just going to use the end of my brush to make sure it's where I want it to be, because I don't squash it down with my fingers and mess up the stars. Okay, so that's my background. Now these bits, the layers. So these layered pieces here, how did I do those? Okay, so I've got 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, I've got my Yiletide Village, okay, and I've looked at them, and I've decided that I want the church to be right at the front because it's the biggest stamp. So the church is going to be, well, maybe we should do it centre, so that could stand out. Now the biggest point on the church is right there, so I'm going to put my stamp so it's there, but I'm also going to bring it over this side so that it leaves room for the other houses. Okay, so I'm going to stamp that there. So if I get my stamp, my block, I'm going to pick it up like so, and I use a grey granite on this, and what I do is I stamp once in grey granite onto my paper, and then I stamp onto here. Now that also has got that pencil mark, so I'm going to turn it over, or turn it round because there's spots on it. Look at that, I've got spots on it from here. Okay, we're just going to go for it. Actually, look, if I put that, my pencil mark at the top, I know I'm going to cut that off. Okay, so that's going to go there. Oh, and I didn't stamp it off. That's going to be too dark. Okay, let's turn it over. Let's use that for a short one. Let's start again. Okay. And here we go again. Right, stamp, stamp, stamp on here. Yay! Can you see how much lighter it is? Where has it gone? Because look, that's really dark. I don't want it so dark. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off this bit and trim around. So I'm going to cut off there so it looks like it's snow. And then I'm going to use my little scissors to just fussy cut really quickly round. Now I would normally take a little bit more time than what I am, but I don't want you to have to be sitting there waiting for me for ages. So I'm going to do it super quick. Okay, nearly there. Okay, so what you're left with is that. Okay, let's move that out of the way for a minute. So now if I bring that back in, that will fit in like there, okay? But you can see the moon, you can see there's a big gap that side. So the bit that I want that side, will those houses fit? Probably not. Let's do this bit. So look at my stamp set again. There's one that's got two houses. Okay, so the two houses, if I bring my church out, okay, that's there. And my houses I want sort of there, don't I? So is that going to go too much into the moon? Maybe. Let's try that. Okay, so I get my grey granite, I stamp off, and then I move my church along a bit, and I decide that I want my houses here, like so, and I do the same thing again. So I shape this, doesn't matter how, and then to go around the houses I use my little scissors and the snowman. Like so. Just makes such a difference because it really does make them look 3D. And I'm going to chop that bit off even though we won't see it. So now when I bring that back in, okay, you've got this bit as your back piece there. Oh, the moon, put the moon at the top like so. This bit as your next piece. Oh, here, look at that. You can see how well that overlaps. And then we want the front piece, so I should be able to get away with using this because the front piece is just the tree. So in here is the tree, and I want it, let's take that one off again, and I want the tree, let's see, that's on there, I want the tree quite down here, don't I? I want it to be right down the bottom, so about there. So the tree's going to be there, and actually I want another tree, so I'm using some of the scrap. Oh, I didn't stamp off. Stamp off. No. Stamp off. Stamp. Not. I'm doomed not to use this piece, aren't I? Have I got another piece? Got a lovely little bit down here, but is it the same size? No. Let's see if we can make it the same size. Well, it's not far. Oh, you might get away with it, Claire. Okay. So, the tree's got to be quite near the bottom, about there. So I stamped off, stamped on. and make that a bit like snow. We're nearly there, honestly. Promise. Okay. Let's bring that back in. Let's check it. Church goes in there. Tree goes down there. Yep. And then the other tree, we just cut out the tree. So don't worry about the snow, landscaping. I'm just trimming around the tree. Oh, gone quiet because I'm concentrating so much. So the tree I can put anywhere. Put it there, there, all over the show. Okay, so we've got all our layers ready. Let's move some of the stuff out of the way. Move that all out of the way. We've got our layers, we've got our background piece. So now what we need to do is colour. So I've got some watercolour pencils and some blends, and this is going to be super quick colouring. So I am not going to do it very carefully. I'm just dropping some colour on with the watercolour pencils, and then I'm using this blender pen to do all the work for me. Moving the pencil colour around, making it look like it's proper watercoloured. Just spreading around the ink. Okay, and it just gives it a washed look. Just like that. Okay, there's, oh, and I'll just get rid of that blue. And then I'll do a pink on this one. Again, I'm just doing it super quick. You can spend much more time on yours. Just like that. You can see how effective it is, even though I'm not trying very hard. Okay, there's that. And then what colour door did I do? Oh, a red door. Red door. Again, I'm not putting a lot of colour, I'm letting the blender pen do the work. Okay, so there's that. And then this one has got brown on it, I think. Although that's quite a light brown, isn't it? So Stampin' Up sell 2 packs of watercolours pencils at the moment, or there's a new kit that's got watercolour pencils in and some fabulous colouring pages. So you might want to take a look at that. I saw that earlier today and thought, oh my goodness, that's so lovely, and what a great Christmas present. So yeah, have a look at the watercolouring pencils, because whether you're a colourer or not, these are such a good way to add a bit of colour without too much effort. I mean, honestly, you can't say that my colouring is fantastic. It's just quick for today, for the purposes of this video. So, and then a tree. I've just seen there's a tree. So again, I'm just putting something on him. There's a bit of a wreath around the church. Make it look better with my blender. Just add in some colour. There's a little bow on the wreath. Okay, and all the trees, the 2 trees. Okay, let's do the 2 trees. Now I think they've got a bit of snow on as well. I've got some snowy stuff I can use. Look, this is so terrible. Ah, speed colouring. It's not even colouring, is it? It's like a form of scribbling. Okay, but it looks good. Okay, that's going on there. Please take more time with your colouring than I am. Okay, now on top of that, I have got some of this. So this is Nouveau glitter drops. I'm not using it how it's meant to be used, but I'm just going to put some on because it's glitter and it's Christmas. So I'm just putting it in different places. And I put, oh goodness me, put it on there on the snow on the roof. And then when it dries, it will be super sparkly. Okay, just adds a different layer to your craft. Bit of snow there, bit of snow there. Okay, is that it? Yeah. The last thing that we need is we need some way of making this not be flat at the back. So what I mean by that is we need a bit of a crop. So let me cut off a piece of paper. Okay. I'm just going to get a strip of paper and then I'll talk to you about it. So I've got a strip of paper that's 3/4 inches wide, okay? Now each of these hexagon sides is 2 inches, so I'm going to cut a bit off. That's 1 7/8. And I need 3 of them. Okay, so there's 1 7/8. There's 2, 1 7/8. And 3. 1 7/8. Okay, so I've got 3 of those, so I'm just going to fold them in half. I mean, I could have scored it, but it's just as good folding it. So fold it down the middle. I just make sure it's really got a nice tight crease. Okay, now half of that is going to be glued. Glue on half of it. Now this is my back piece, so I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to put it on like that, okay? So it needs to be along the bottom there, so it forms a stand like that, okay? It's a really simple way of making a stand. Now if you feel like you need an extra bit here, you can put an extra bit up here or here, it's up to you, but I think I'm going to get away with just 1 bit. Now this is where it's good that you've got these pieces that fold back, because you can open them up, you can get your hands in and you can press down on the piece of paper. And if you've got fat fingers like me, you can do it with a pencil and just press it along the back, and that means you've got a 3D piece, okay? And do the same with the next one. So the next one is the church. So I'm going to fold that piece in half again. I'm going to put glue on half, oh the tree, come back tree, glue on half of it. Like so. So that means it's got a stand like that. Okay. Put some glue on the other half. And again, do it the same again. Press down on pencil. That's the second piece. And then the third piece is the same again. And then we're nearly at the ta-da. just need to put the boxes together and put the snowflakes on them so that they interlock with each other's. So put some glue on there. Okay, and that one goes like that. Like so. So that's what it looks like again, your stand. And this one goes on there. Okay, like that. So you've got your 3 pieces. And then the tree, what I tend to do is put just one dimension on the back of it. And just have that overlapping. So you can have it at the front, have it at the back, you can have it there, I think I'm going to have it there. Just like that. And then put all those back over. And that is your hexagon box. Ta-da! Okay, so you've got 1, 2, 3. Now, ideally I wouldn't have them all the same picture, but for the purposes of this, ta-da! I hope you've liked watching that. You can add all sorts of things. You can use glitter card and put that on your snow points if you prefer. You could do a little seam with a paper tree, Santa going across the sky, all sorts of things. But I hope it has inspired you and you'll give it a go. Thanks for watching. I hope it's okay, Anne, and that you enjoy making it. Happy crafting.